welcome back to Please Don't Live Stream. I'm pretty sure we're live. I'm gonna lower the music a little bit. I don't think you can hear the music, Christopher. I'm playing the castle theme from Super Mario 64, because that's like one of the few things I like about Super Mario. I like that song. And we're doing if you've read the title, you know what we're doing today. We're doing video game movies. Kind of a follow-up to our previous two streams, where we talked about one particular video game movie franchise. So today we're talking about the industry as a whole, about making movies out of video games. But introductions. First of all, welcome back to our welcome back. You're always here, almost always here. My co-host Christopher. Say hello, Christopher.
Hello.
Gabby was supposed to be here today. He hasn't shown up. Maybe he'll show up later, but for now it's just the two of us. I mean, that usually works. So I'm gonna remove the music completely. So yeah, what are we doing today more specifically? We're gonna talk about video game movies just in general. We were talking about like ranking them from best to worst. I think we said in the chat, we said from least worst to worst. And then just try to figure out why video game movies always suck. I think they always suck. There isn't one that is like, this is actually a good movie. I don't think there is one.
No.
There isn't, right?
I mean, no, not really.
Yeah. Oh, and a quick note here, because we are going after a very specific set of parameters here when we talk about video game movies. We're only talking about live action, internationally released in theaters. So there's not the like 300 animated Pokemon movies or like the fucking Tekken prequels and sequels. No, we're talking about the live action international theater movies. So, and that's also good because I haven't told you this. I looked at that list you found on Wikipedia over the movies and realized that I'd almost seen every video game movie made.
Really?
Yeah, in that category.
Why would you do that?
Well, like first we had just seen like 6 of them, so that's like a good like percentage of the list. Oh, yeah. And then I'd seen some Uwe Boll movies for fun. I'd seen the Max Payne movie, and I was like, there's like 5 or 6 movies I hadn't seen, and like 1 or 2 that I had to like refresh in my memory. So I thought, can I do it? Can I watch every video game movie made? Every live action video game movie made? And I'm very happy to announce that I have watched every video game movie ever made. I'm making up for the Resident Evil stream where I, the host, didn't finish the fucking franchise at first.
Well, congratulations, I guess. I don't know if this is something you should be telling people publicly about.
No, I don't know. I did like a Twitter thread about it, so I have guarded myself. I've said that they are terrible. All of them are terrible, but I've tried to find out which one is the least terrible, like we talked about.
But I mean, you have 2 coming out this year to see. So...
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah. Detective Pikachu just premiered here in Sweden. I haven't seen it yet. I'm not a big Pokemon fan. I haven't cared about Pokemon since like 2000. But I think it's good timing to talk about video game movies, since Pikachu just came out. We have Sonic later this year, which I gotta say, I don't know if I mentioned this before. I don't think it looks terrible.
What?
It looks like a generic kids movie. I don't know.
Yeah.
People get so upset over the design, and I'm like, Sonic isn't that like holy to me. I don't care about Sonic, so he looks weird. So what? That's just my take on it.
Yeah, but Sonic is one of those characters, like, for some reason, like, a huge community just took it and, like defending it to the grave.
Yeah, I know.
I don't get it myself. I only played, like, a few of the first 2 Sonic games.
Yeah.
Like, way before. It wasn't really my taste. I do love one of the animated TV shows, though. It wasn't really...
Oh, yeah, there was...
The dark one.
Yeah, I don't know if there are more, but in Sweden... Well, there are more that came later, but when we were kids, there were 2 of them. There was the dark one, It was just called Sonic the Hedgehog. I think
I think
both were called Sonic the
Yeah,
Hedgehog.
both were only called Sonic the
Yeah,
Hedgehog.
but one was for like kids between like I don't know 5 and 7, and the other one were for kids between like 9 and maybe 12 or something. So it was a
Yeah.
little darker, a little more action. That one was really cool. I mean, I liked them both, but I really liked the action dark one.
Yeah. So yeah, but I mean that's why people are so vocal about it, because people still care about it, even though it hasn't really released a good game in like 10 years
Yeah,
maybe.
even more. We have in the chat here someone, I think we know him. I'm not sure. Martin Sundstrom. I don't know. Do you recognize him? I don't know. Either way, he's saying it's a silly kids movie. Who cares? Yeah, I agree with Martin. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see here. The dark one is known as Sonic Satan. Oh, Saturday AM. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, that's right. They didn't call it that in Sweden though. Anyway, back to the matter at hand. Well, I should ask you then. Did you watch any video game movies, or did you just go with the one you had already seen?
No, I looked over the list and saw. Yeah, I don't want to see any of these. I'm good with the one I've seen already.
Yeah,
Which
okay.
isn't that many. It's actually, I was surprised that it wasn't more. I thought I'd seen more, but
Yeah, you get the feeling it's gonna be like so many movies, but there's not. It's like 34 or something,
yeah.
which is
And
not too bad.
And I've seen maybe like 10, 15 of them, something like that. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've still never seen any Uwe Boll movies, so
Well,
and that's
yeah.
that's a big chunk of the list.
Yeah, there's a few. It's like 5 of them. Let's see here. The list is it's well, the first one, according to this Wikipedia article, there might be some we've missed, but the first one was Super Mario Bros. Then there was Double Dragon, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, Wing Commander. Then there was the Lara Croft Tomb Raider, Resident Evil, the Tomb Raider Creator of Life, House of the Dead, Resident Evil Apocalypse, Alone in the Dark, Doom, Blood Rain, Silent Hill, DOA Dead or Alive. That was a good one. Postal, Resident Evil Extinction, Hitman, In the Name of the King. That's an Uwe Boll movie. Far Cry. That's another Uwe Boll movie. Then the Max Payne movie. Yeesh. Street Fighter, Legend of Chun-Li, Tekken, Prince of Persia, Resident Evil Afterlife, Retribution, Silent Hill, Revelation. A lot of subtitles here. Need for Speed. That was a weird one. Have you seen that one?
No, I didn't even know that existed.
I saw that in the theaters.
Jesus.
Hitman Agent 47, the sequel. Ugh. Warcraft. Ugh. Assassin's Creed. Resident Evil Final Chapter. Tomb Raider. Rampage last year. And then this year, then Pokemon Detective Pikachu and Sonic the Hedgehog, which hasn't come out yet. Those are all they've made. I thought there was going to be a bunch more, but I guess stretched out over like 30 years, it is kind of a lot. I don't know. One a year.
Yeah. I mean, sure.
So, but just off the top of your head, which of these had you watched before? Obviously, the Resident Evil.
Yeah, Resident
movies.
Evil, obviously. I've seen Super Mario Bros.
Yeah.
I've seen Mortal Kombat. I've seen Tomb Raider, first one. Silent Hill, both of them. Dead or Alive. Hitman, the first one, I think. I've seen one of them, but yeah, the first one.
The one with Timothy Olyphant.
Yeah, that's one.
Yeah, that's the first one.
Yeah, that's all of them.
All right. Well, I watched them all. So I'm not. Have you made a list, like from best to worst?
Not really. I haven't written it down, but when looking over the list, I can at least tell you the top 3 of them.
Oh, okay.
So.
Well, yeah. We'll start with yours then, because I have ranked all of them.
So I would put as number 3. I'll put Silent Hill, first one, because I mentioned that in the previous podcast that I really like it. I think it's a fun movie.
I like it too. Yeah, it has some plot holes, but other than that, it's a good movie.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
And number 2 is Resident Evil, the first one.
Yeah.
As stated before, I like that one. And as number 1, I don't think you'll guess which one it is.
No.
Dead or Alive.
Wow! Really? Wow.
Just to clarify, it's because it's so bad it's good. It's so hilariously fun. Nothing makes sense. Everything is stupid. It's wonderful.
I remember I said something very similar on Twitter after I'd watched it. Like, yeah, it's so tongue in cheek. Like they know they're making a shit movie,
Yeah,
and they're having
and
fun with it.
that usually destroys a so bad it's good movie when they know it is. Like what was it
Like
called?
Sharknadoes, that kind of movie.
Yeah,
They want to
Sharknado
make a
and those.
so bad it's
Yeah,
good movie. It doesn't work.
yeah, and that doesn't work. But in this one, it does work for
Yeah.
some reason, and I think it is because everyone has so much fun on set.
Yeah. I
And
think though somewhere either the producers or maybe the screenwriter or someone thought they were making a real movie, and then the rest of them were like, "Oh, sure," and they just fucked around.
yeah,
So that's probably why it works.
yeah, it's so fun.
Yeah.
I think it's for me. I think it's one of the best so bad it's good movies.
Yeah,
It's up there at least.
you don't hear people talk about it a lot, but it should be mentioned among so bad it's good movies. It's really fun. It's really stupid.
But I can understand if people don't like it because, as stated, they know they're making a bad movie, and
yeah.
I mean I can see why people prefer the big mistakes in movies.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
So
yeah. It's not on the level of like The Room or Plan 9, but it's
No.
almost up there.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my top 3 list.
All
just
right.
From the top of my head.
Let's see here. I have actually made a list here. I mean, we can do some adjustments on the fly here, but as it's looking right now, it's should be. Oh, yeah. I think you have to like watch the stream if you want to see the list. I think. But I'll put it up on the screen now. I think. Yeah, there it is. So, these are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28.
Did you rank all?
Yeah,
of them?
35. Yeah, I ranked. Well, I watched them all, or I have seen them all.
But just because you've seen them doesn't mean you have to rank them all.
No, because this is yeah. They're all they all go on the list because I mean S is the best. A is
Yeah,
like actually.
And fucking, of course, did you put Rampage and number as an S?
Yeah.
Of course you did.
We're gonna get to that, but yeah, I ranked
Ah.
them. But like the F tier are basically failures. D tier is like pretty much failures, but they have some redeeming features. C I put as like barely passable. B is passable. A is kind of good, and S is well, I'm not sure there's actually good, but it's the best
And you put
somehow.
Dead or Alive as a C ranking.
Yeah.
How could you?
Well, well, yeah. Let's talk a little bit. Like, obviously, I think every Uwe Boll movie is in the F rank. Alone in the Dark, Postal, House of the Dead, Far Cry, Name of the King, and Blood Rain. Yes. Oh, and I should mention the ones I watched this week were Blood Rain, Far Cry, House of the Dead, Street Fighter, Legend of Chun-Li. I watched Annihilation. Well, I had watched it when I was a kid, but I rewatched it. I watched Wing Commander, Tekken, Dead or Alive, and Double Dragon. Those were the ones I hadn't seen before. And
That's a few still. That's still a few movies to watch.
yeah.
In a week.
I didn't do much else. I like. Well, I should mention that I watched some of them while I was working, so I like had them in the background. So I haven't like super analyzed every movie, but I have watched them.
Okay.
It's not movies you have to analyze really.
Fair.
So, just quickly, and also I think they are more or less ranked. So the one that is closest to the actual tier is. No, these aren't ranked that way. I'm sorry. They're just all the Fs are just failures. So yeah, just quickly go through them. Blood Rain was fucking miserable. It just like every Uwe Boll movie. It just looks cheap, and no one cares about trying to act properly. Oh, sorry, I can't do that. There we go. And it's such a shit show, and it like barely has anything to do with the games. I don't know if you've played the Blood Rain games. They take,
No.
no,
Wait.
they take place in the 30s and 40s.
Oh. Yeah. Just so I've seen a lot of parts of Uwe Boll movies.
Oh,
So
okay.
I think maybe I've seen most of them, but in like clip forms.
Oh, okay.
Um, so yeah, it's I know of them. I can talk about it, but I've never seen him from like start to finish
Yeah,
any of
okay.
them.
No, you don't really have to.
Um,
He's never made a good movie,
no,
so.
I think the only ones I'm not seen anything from is House of Dead,
Ugh.
Postal, and Far Cry.
Yeah.
Those three I haven't seen anything from.
Well, if we're gonna pick, just quickly, just pick the worst movie of the F tier. That's definitely House of the Dead. It is despicable. It is so fucking vile and wretched. I mean,
Why is it so bad? Why does it offend you so much?
I mean, I mean, well, I could talk about for hours about all these movies, but I'm gonna try to keep it short since there's a lot of movies. It is
Wow.
so like there's no attention to any like no care or attention put to that movie. They just went out into the woods. It's called House of the Dead. They're not in a house until the last like 15 minutes. That's just the first thing. They're out in the woods. It should be called Forest of the Dead. For some reason, there's these random just inserts of the video game, like a transition clip. Like, oh, we're going over to this area of the island. Clip from the game where they shoot some zombies. It's so weird. Terrible acting. The plot is the plot is passable, but the way they tell the story doesn't work. It's like magical zombies instead of actual zombies.
So what you're describing is it's barely a movie.
It's oh yeah, it's barely a movie. The only like scene that I really and read the only scene that I actually kind of enjoyed, I should say, was like there's this huge shootout at a graveyard where they kill I think like hundreds of zombies, literally. It's actually kind of a fun action scene with some good slow mo, some cool like gun fu moves, but it goes on for like 15 minutes. After the first 5, you're like, get on with it. We've seen you kill zombies. Get on that. So they ruined that scene too. That's definitely the worst of the F movies. But yeah, just quickly the other ones. Silent Hill Revelation. I did not like that one at all. I struggled to even finish that back when I saw it a few years ago. I don't know. And the whole like 3D thing. I did watch it in 3D, but it didn't work in 3D. In the Name of the King. Honestly, like it's an it's an okay like TV fantasy movie, but I like rewatching some clips of it and thinking about it. It's like nah, it's a pretty shitty movie. But I could probably put that higher up on the list, but no. Far Cry, same thing there, with a better director. That could have been like a decent action movie. But Uwe Boll does not care about making a good movie. He just wanna shoot a movie and like make his money back and like 10% extra. He's the definition of a terrible director.
Yeah, because that is not just talking shit about him. That's actually true. That he only makes movies for the money.
Yes.
He doesn't really care about what's going on the screen.
That's why he's made like almost exclusively video game movies, because it's already a finished product. They just rewrite it as a movie and you're done.
Wow.
And yeah, and they're this. I don't know if they still do it. He hasn't made a movie in a while, but there's this loophole about like funding for movies in Germany, where even though the movie doesn't make any money back, he gets his money back somehow. There's some sort of fund or something.
I heard about it. Isn't it something like it for the arts like what is it called?
They get like like funding. Yeah, a grant. Yes.
Yeah.
And even if the movie doesn't make any money, everyone who's involved gets paid. So they just throw money at him for some reason, but not anymore. Hopefully. Yeah. And then Hitman, Agent 47, the sequel to the Hitman movie. The first Hitman movie isn't great, but the second one just completely went off the rails. It does not look anything like the Hitman games, and it's not even a good movie on its own. So I think
if I remember correctly, the original Hitman movie, um, it actually it's kind of good at portraying the game, just that the game doesn't make a good movie because
Exactly.
the games are kind of boring to watch usually.
Yes, they're
It's
fucking
great.
terrible to watch. Great to
It's
play.
great. Yeah, great to play, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's not fun to see someone like it doesn't do that in a movie, but see someone standing still for 20 minutes waiting for the right opportunity.
Exactly.
They don't do that in the movie though,
No.
but I mean, it yeah. So it's the wrong movie, but they do it as it should, but it was the wrong
The wrong source
target.
material.
Yeah,
Yeah.
source material. Yeah.
So in the sequel, they try to make it more like an action movie, which
Mm.
does not make sense at all. It's just terrible.
Yeah.
And then I put Resident Evil Apocalypse down on F because I think we agreed
No.
on that being the worst one
Yeah.
two episodes back. And Postal, like that's a game that hasn't aged well. I thought Postal 2 was like one of the coolest games ever when I was a kid. I played it late last year. I downloaded it and played it. It is a terrible game. The fucking edgy humor doesn't work anymore. Some jokes work, but overall, it's a terrible game, which makes a terrible adaptation of that game an even worse movie.
Didn't they like release an expansion like recently for that game?
Uh,
Like
I don't know.
2017 or something? I think they released like a DLC or something.
Oh, maybe. I don't
For
know.
some weird reason.
I know they made a third game that nobody played because it was terrible a few years back. But yeah, so that's completely terrible, terrible movie. Then Street Fighter, which is just it's from the same director that made Doom, and Andrei Bartkowiak, I think it's called. He's actually a cinematographer. He's done some fairly big movies where he's just the director of photography. He does a good job, but he's a terrible director. Especially Street Fighter. He made Street Fighter after Doom, and it's so flat. He can't direct people. Everyone talks completely monotone, or they overact, almost like the screen starts bleeding. They overact so much. It's absolutely terrible. It doesn't resemble the game at all. Christine Kroik, who plays Lana Lang in Smallville. She plays Chun-Li here. She cannot do fight choreography to save her life. Every time you actually see her fight, it's a stunt double. It's obviously a stunt double. So not even the fights are enjoyable. And like I said, there's no similarity to the game at all. And then Warcraft. I made a review when it came out. I did it in Swedish. I called it the worst movie ever made. It's still there. It's one of the worst movies ever. I don't know. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it because I had a creeping suspicion when it came out, which I then got confirmed by friends that it's a good movie if you're really invested in the game, because they don't explain anything. There's no world building or anything like that in the movie.
No.
They count on that you come into the cinema with all that information, and then it's kind of a good movie. And that's what I thought.
Yeah, I've heard similar, but I've also heard some people saying that even if you like the games, it's a pretty terrible movie. Like even just as a movie, world building aside, it's just it looks terrible. Like all the armor and all the weapons and the orcs, they all look like they do in the game, but since it's so cartoony in the game, it all looks like they're wearing like a cosplay. It doesn't look like real armor. It doesn't look like real swords. It all looks like plastic or foam rubber, whatever it's called. It looks terrible.
What we have been talking about before with these Disney remakes too.
Yeah.
That it doesn't work in real action, but it does work in when it's animated, because there is another disbelief. What is it called? Suspension of disbelief.
Oh, sure, yeah.
There's another suspension of disbelief when you looked at something that's animated than something that's live action.
Yes, exactly.
And I think that's the same thing that you're describing in Warcraft, that it works in animated but not in live
Yes,
action.
exactly. It looks just terrible. And then I don't know. Have you seen Max Payne? No, you haven't seen that one, right?
Yeah, no, I have seen it.
All right. Well, then we can both
Um,
agree. It should have been a good movie because I think we talked about that last week.
Yeah.
Max Payne is in essence a pretty simple story, just told very convoluted.
hmm
For some reason, they changed so much in that movie, which they didn't have to, and there's like no. The whole thing about Max Payne is the whole slow motion thing, the bullet time. I think they used that like 2 times in the movie. It should have been like part of every action scene. Mark Wahlberg is a dud as Max Payne. It's just.
I think my problem with it is that there's no there's no weight in anything. Everything seems so
Fake.
fake.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, in both the acting and the action, and you never get invested in any way in anything.
No, because each scene just exists to look cool. There's no like it
Yeah.
doesn't feel like a progression from scene to scene.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I think that, and I didn't have any problems with either the story or how the action looked. Everything looks good, and I think the story was fine. Which is, I was never invested in anything. I didn't care about anything that happened.
Yeah, I actually watched that one with Gabbe many years ago. And yeah, we had a laugh riot over that one. There's this scene towards the end. I'm going to spoil, who cares?
Yeah.
When he gets like he gets high on Valkyr, well just like in the games, but instead of him hallucinating about his dead family, in the movie he becomes like a fucking roided up like racehorse or something. He just starts running around like shooting at everything, and it's just what is going on? I remember my brain couldn't like interpret what it was seeing, so I just started like when I saw that first time. It was so stupid. I hate that movie because it ruined one of my favorite games. And then Alone in the Dark. Guess what? It's another Uwe Ball movie.
Yeah.
Like, he gets progressively more competent, if you can even say that. So like Far Cry was his latest of these video game movies, I think. It's definitely the best of his.
He works up to bad.
Exactly. Yeah, and Alone in the Dark came out, I think it's his second one after House of the Dead, and it is fucking terrible. Like he got these like he got all the washed up Hollywood actors and actresses like Tara Reid and Christian Slater and what's his name, Steven Dorff. It is so terrible. It's trying to be just like House of the Dead. It tries to be so edgy and cool, but it just looks fucking terrible. And it's nothing like the games. Once again, the games are like survival horror, or like mystery horror. The movie is an action movie with like zombie werewolves or something. It's so dumb. All right, the next one, the D class. These are not terrible, not as terrible as the F tier, but they're still pretty bad.
Yeah.
So there we have Resident Evil as 5 and 6. Yeah, like not much redeeming features there. Mortal Kombat Annihilation. That's probably the worst looking movie of them all.
Yeah, I didn't see it because I really disliked the first one.
Yeah, I kind of like the first one, but the second one it's just awful. And it's so weird because the first Mortal Kombat was actually kind of a big hit at the box office. So I don't know why they didn't like spend some more money on the sequel. Because it just looks terrible.
You can say that about the first one. There was some good effects in that one.
Yeah, for 95 it looks fine.
Yeah, for its time, obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean, there was some pretty good effects.
Yeah. Yeah, and the second one, Annihilation, came out in 97, and it looks like it's made in 84. It just looks terrible. And there's like no effort put into anything at all. And then we get to the infamous Mario Bros. Movie, which some have called like the worst movie of all time. No. Far from it. It's when I was a kid, I thought it was an okay like adventure movie. I wasn't like a big Mario fan back then or even now. So I
Mm-hmm.
didn't care about them changing a bunch of stuff. But like looking at it now, it has nothing in common with the games except for Mario, Luigi, and Peach.
Uh,
That's about it. And they're not really they don't really look like they do in the games either. So
yeah, I mean, I think Mario is one of the ones I've seen. It's the weirdest choices in
yeah.
everything.
Like the
Uh,
Toadstool Kingdom is like this post-apocalyptic, like poisonous, like cityscape instead of a paradise world.
yeah, I mean, most of the movies, you can see what they were going for. Like they try to reimagine it. It's something else or something.
Mm.
But in Marvel's, it doesn't even make. You can't even see what they're trying to do.
No, like if they changed the names of the characters and called it like plumber guy in weird city movie, no one would mistake it for a Mario movie because it has
Yeah,
nothing to do with the Mario games.
yeah. Because I remember back then when I saw it. No, I think it was when I saw the trailers or something.
Mm.
I don't know. And I thought that they tried to make Super Mario, but with like in the real world, like they take the same concept as the games and put it in the real world.
Yeah.
But then they have like monsters and stuff in it. It's just
Yeah.
why?
That movie is a conundrum. I don't think anyone knows
Yeah.
what happened with that movie.
I mean, have you read anything about what they were going for? Have you read? Do you know anything? Like,
No, I haven't looked that too much into it. I know that the director, after the fact, have kind of like denounced the movie. He's like, "Yeah, I fucked up. Don't. I don't want to talk about it." That's basically what he says. But it's a weird one. But I remember kind of liking it when I was a kid. I don't like it now though. And then we have Wing Commander. Wing Commander it's a movie that. It's actually written and directed by the guy who made the games, the Wing Commander games. It's that's admirable. So it's actually it feels like a passion project in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is that it's so fucking boring. There's a good movie in there with like kind of well thought out characters. There's a plot that tries to mix a lot of like character driven with some story driven stuff, but. First of all, for a movie made in 1999, it looks terrible. I don't know the budget, but it couldn't have been a lot of money involved. Yeah, and then you have fucking Freddie Prinze Jr. as your leading man. That doesn't work either, especially not in this movie. And it's just a fucking snore fest all the way through. Boring. It's an admirable failure, but it's boring as hell. Then we have Assassin's Creed. That's probably the best looking movie on the list. I don't know. Have you seen that one?
I didn't see it. I was really excited for it until I saw the first trailer, and then I just gave up on it.
Yeah.
'Cause I got the feeling, correct me if I'm wrong, that they're trying to emulate the game too much and the story too little.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. Yeah. For some stupid reason, like the games have a very involved story.
Yeah.
There is enough there to make an actual movie, like the first
That's why
3 games or something.
That's why I was excited for it, because I thought, that's a game that actually could be a movie. I mean, there you have the story for it.
Yeah. But instead of putting it in Italy in the 1700s, they put it in Spain in the 1500s. So there's no characters. No character from the game is in the movie. You don't have Desmond. You don't have whatever the assassins are called, Altair or the Italian guy. No one from the movie. It's just they completely just threw out everything that the game did, except for the memories, the animus thing. That's the only thing that resembles the game. Other than that, it's a completely new story, which is not as interesting as the one told in the games. They jump back and forth between the medieval stuff and the future stuff too much, and it's just super boring. The director has like a keen eye for like style, so it looks good to some degree, but it's so murky and gray, just like the poster. It's all just gray Grades of Grey. It was a super big disappointment. I watched that in the theaters as well. And then we have Doom, which I saw that in theaters as well. I actually went by myself and saw that one. That was a miserable day back in the day. Yeah, it's they try to make like a mix between Doom 3 and the first Doom, so kind of like action horror, but it doesn't work. They didn't have the budget to do that. It looks really bad. And the big draw of the movie was that first person sequence they have. I don't know, have you seen that one?
I've seen that sequence.
Yeah.
But not the rest of the movie.
That one is actually fun because it looks exactly like the video game, but it's like 5 minutes, and the rest of the movie is it's a complete failure. I love Carl Urban. I think he should have more roles, and I think he does a fine job in Doom. But no, that's a big turkey.
You want to know just fun thing?
Yeah.
They're making a sequel.
Oh yeah, I know, Doom, whatever it was called, and it looks even worse.
Yeah.
I remember I read about it like a long time ago, and I was like, hey, that could be something. But then I saw the trailer, and it just, it looks fucking terrible.
Doom Annihilation.
Oh yeah, right, Annihilation. Yeah, I'm not gonna watch that one. And
I read something about there was an interview with the director, I think, when they were asking like, oh, so you're gonna have a first person sequence or a longer one?
Yeah.
I mean, we have the technology for it. You can make the whole movie. And he was like, no, I didn't think people liked that in the first movie. So I was like, it's the only thing people liked.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's like remotely likable about that movie. Jesus Christ. Oh well. Let's try to get through this list now, because now we're into the more boring ones. Yeah. The barely passable ones. Prince of Persia. It looks like the games. I think Jake Gyllenhaal does a fine prince. Thing is, like, a big part of that game is actually the whole time travel thing with the sense of time, and I think they used that two or three times in the movie. Other than that, it's so boring. Because that game doesn't. The first Prince of Persia, I mean, the reboot, the PS2 game, didn't really have a lot of story. There's like a little bit of setup in the beginning, then there's this long stretch where you're basically just doing like acrobatic puzzles and fighting, and then there's a little bit of story in the end. So it's actually not a good game to make a movie out of, because there's not really that much story. And it shows, because they're really milking what little there is in the game, or in the movie.
I can see we have a lot of people in the chat.
Oh, we do? Oh, well, let's read the chat a little bit then. Where is it? There it is. Oh, Jesus. Oh, here are some people. Sorry, I've been neglecting the chat here. Let's see here. Oh, well, the stupid Martin guy calling me a hack fraud. Why? He's mentioning here it's basically like a tax refund, talking about the Uwe Boll movies. Exactly.
Yeah. I think he was calling Uwe Boll a hack fraud.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Let's see here. Oh, we have Gabe is in the chat. Yeah, he was actually watching Detective Pikachu. I talked with him on Facebook, so he might hop in if we go on for long enough. He's on his way home. But here we have Walexi87. I'm not sure who that is. It exists many game movies that are good. I have to disagree with you, whoever you are, which is. It's evident of my tier list. Like even like the S tier, the Rampage is just passable as an actual movie. Like I was in the beginning, there are no good video game movies, not yet. Then he mentions The Incredible. I don't know what he means. Does he mean Incredibles, the Pixar movie? That's not a video game movie though.
No, it's not. I don't know.
So I don't know. Yeah, and then there's just a bunch of nonsense here from Gabe and Martin. Nonsense. So back to the list. There we go. You can see it right. Yes. Where were we? Yes, Prince of Persia. Bad movie. Boring movie, I should say. Not bad. It's boring.
No.
Resident Evil Extinction. Yeah, the most boringest of the Resident Evil movies. That's why I put it there. These are the ones that, like I said, C is barely passable. Street Fighter. That's interesting because I know I've heard some people. I think that Martin guy in the chat has mentioned that Street Fighter is like accidentally genius. I don't agree at all. I think
How?
it's
In what way?
I don't know that it like. Well, we'll see if he'll write something in the chat about it. Because yeah, I don't know how it's accidentally genius. I think it's accidentally terrible. Because once again, it does resemble the game more than the Chun-Li movie does, but there's so much bad acting, so much like unnecessary humor in it. I mean, yeah, it should be lighthearted, but there's like goofy slapstick, and the Zangief character is like almost like retarded. It's so stupid.
Yeah. The only good thing about it is Raul.
Yeah, he knew what he was doing. I mean, he only did it because his kids heard that he got a call about doing the Street Fighter movie, and they were like, "Oh, you got to do it. We love that game." And it's like, okay. So he's having fun with it.
Fun.
Yes, and he's having a lot of fun. And I gotta say, this doesn't translate to English, but one of the best things in all of movie history is actually in Street Fighter, because General Bison wants to build this utopia city that he is a ruler of, and he wants to name it after himself. So it's supposed to be a utopian metropolis that it's named after him. It's Bisonopolis. In English, that doesn't make sense, but in Swedish, that's very funny.
Yeah. I never thought about it.
Yeah, that was. I mean, I saw it the first time when I was, I don't know, 10, and I laughed my ass off when I heard that. The thing is, Bisonopolis in Swedish is like shitonopolis or pooponopolis. So it's poop, and I just, yeah, so that's the only thing that sticks with me.
Martin is telling us that it's low-key genius.
Right.
A lot of the fight scenes are played out like it was a 2D fighter. I don't know how that's genius, but I mean, okay. Sure.
Yeah, exactly. And he thinks the Zangief character is kind of funny. Well, yeah. But it's not low-key genius. Yeah, it resembles the game to some extent, but that doesn't make it genius. Sorry, Martin. Sorry.
No.
At least not in my book. Let's move on. Let's do that. Where were we? Yes, Street Fighter. Ugh. Tekken, however. Tekken was the first one of these new ones that I watched, and I gotta say, it kind of works. That one kind of recreates the game pretty well. You have I think you have actual like arenas from the game in the movie. The fight scenes are well choreographed. It's an R-rated movie, which a lot of these aren't. So there's like a lot of like blood and violence, like hardcore violence in the fights. Wow. Which it's good because at least you have something exciting to look at then, instead of a PG-13 where they're just punching each other. And the story follows the monomyth or the hero's journey pretty well. So the what's it called? Jin Kazama is the main character, just like in the third game. And it kind of works as a hero's journey. All the beats are there; they're just not very well defined. And
why'd you put it at C? It seems like you're praising it.
Yeah, you see, this is why I said we might change some stuff. Yeah, this should probably go a bit higher. Like, there's a lot of bad acting in it, and it looks kind of cheap from time to time. But yeah, this probably deserves to be higher on the list.
Because it's the first movie on this list when you started out with compliments and telling how good it is.
You're right. You know what? I'm gonna move it up. I might even move it up to A. I'm gonna put it at A for now.
I haven't even seen it, so I have no stake in this game.
Hey man, if you got 100 minutes to spare, it's a fine fight movie. Let's talk about Need for Speed. Now, I'm a big fan of the Fast and Furious movies, as I think I've mentioned before. I seriously like those movies, like seriously. So I was hoping that Need for Speed would kind of capture that, like a lot of like cool car action. but like, first of all, it's more of a racing movie because Need for Speed is a racing game. But from the trailers, it looks like they were gonna put some more action in, which they don't. It's basically just a racing movie. And it's like, okay, I still like some racing movies. They can be fun, adrenaline filled. Problem is, this is the slowest racing movie I've ever seen. Like, there's these wide shots where you just see the cars driving very slowly because it's so far away. It looks like they're driving super slow.
Yeah.
They're driving slowly. There's all this like serene music, like There's no like pulse pounding stuff in the car scenes at all. Everything is in slow motion. Everything feels like they're like driving through syrup or something. It's the most boring movie about race cars ever.
Maybe I haven't seen it either, but maybe it's like one of those movies that's for car lovers, not race lovers. I
I
want to see the cool car looking cool. I don't
I
really care about the adrenaline.
Yeah, maybe, but then it didn't
Oh,
work for me. Like the Need for Speed games is all about the adrenaline. It's racing
yeah,
games, so they didn't capture that at all.
yeah.
Aaron Paul does a fine job though. He's a good actor. And I mean there are some. I guess there's some cool car crashes. There's a lot of expensive cars like catching on fire and exploding. So that's fun. But that's why I put it on barely passable because they have some redeeming features, but overall, no.
Mm.
And then DOA, Dead or Alive. This one might also creep up a little
Come
bit.
on,
Yeah,
S tier.
I
Come
I
on.
I actually had a lot of fun with it. It is uh objectively a terrible movie. Like the actors are terrible. The story is kind of stupid. It looks it's all bright and like but flat somehow and ugh. But like we said before, oh we said that off air. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of tongue in cheek. The action is over the top. And I have to admit, I enjoy the leading ladies in the movie. I think they knew what they had to work with. So yeah, there's a lot of bikinis and skimpy dresses. Hey, what can I say? What can I say?
I mean, it's great fun. Of all the movies on this list, I think that's the first one I'd put on just for fun.
Yeah.
But I must say, I've never done it. I've only seen it like on TV and never
Okay.
and not changed the channel. So
Yeah.
I've never like actually sat down and watched it. But I may do it after this
Yeah. Yeah.
because I mean, it is a movie. As we said, you're forgetting it. It's forgettable for some reason.
Oh yeah, very forgettable.
I mean,
Um, the whole plot about the guy that holds the tournament. He wants
yeah,
to like he wants to collect fight data from all these fighters and put them in some sort of glasses that have a computer chip in them, so he becomes a super good fighter. But that's it. That's it for the story. The rest is just fights.
yeah,
And the whole like glasses. That's stupid because glasses don't really they don't really sit tight on your head. They can fall off, and that's exactly how they defeat him in the movie. They like smack the glass off his face, and then he's a terrible old man again. So it's just stupid plot, but
yeah,
the action is fun and over the top.
yeah.
And especially Jamie Presley and Holly Valance seem to have a lot of fun in their roles. Devon Aoki not so much, but she's not really an actress, so yeah. But yeah, that might actually get up to at least the B tier. I think I'll put it at B for now. Yeah. Then moving on to the B tier, these are the ones that they're passable. They're okay movies. They're not really good, but they're okay. And there we have Hitman, like we talked about before. It definitely captures the game better than the sequel, but it's the wrong kind of game to make a movie out of because it's kind of boring to watch. And the movie, they mix in some more action, so that doesn't really blend well with the game, but it makes
But I
the
mean,
movie watchable.
also another thing that makes it so boring to base a movie of it is that the main character is made to be boring.
Yeah,
He's made to be like a faceless person with no personality.
exactly.
And that can be fun when you play it and you put your own feelings and your own things in it. But when you watch a movie, you can't do that in the same way. So it's just a guy
Yeah.
being nothing.
being boring, being a blank slate, because that's what he
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It works. It works in the movie, but it's kind of disappointing that they don't use the whole clone plot in the game. He's not a clone. He's just an orphan who they like brainwashed. It should have been clones. It could have been clones.
I think the only way to make a Hitman movie, I'm not saying they should or it would be good, but the only way to make it is to make him the antagonist, and you follow up one of his marks.
That could work.
It's the only way to make it work.
I mean,
I don't know.
That's kind of how it starts out in the first movie, because it starts with Sean Bean, who is looking for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, then he becomes the protagonist, of course, because he's Hitman. Or, I mean, a way I think they could make it as a movie is if they like they structured it like a heist movie. Like, it's all about the one target he has, and the whole movie is about him figuring out how to make it happen.
Yeah,
that could work, like a heist movie.
Possibly.
But I don't want them to make any more Hitman movies. Just stop it. Make more good Hitman games instead.
Yeah.
And then we have Silent Hill. It's a fine horror movie. There's a lot of plot. Yeah. There's a lot of plot holes. And some of the plot stuff from the games doesn't really translate well to the movie.
No. But I think that one thing that movie has, and that why I put it as number 3.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Of all others, it's because it has the right feel. It feels like the game.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that really matters in a Silent Hill game.
Yeah, exactly. It definitely has the atmosphere, and then there's some like fan service stuff where she's running through a corridor and it does that weird like camera movement from the game, which is like, that's kind of cheesy, but it works because that's a thing you remember from the game. So, that one it's a fine movie. It's like a 5 out of 10. Yeah. And then of course we have Resident Evil Afterlife, like we talked about. I think you preferred the 5th one, right? Retribution? No.
No.
Yeah, you're right. We both preferred the 4th one. Well,
I prefer the first one over all of them.
Yeah.
And this is like the number 2 one I like, but I was still disappointed because I remembered it better than it was.
Yeah, and that was same for me. Like I said last week, I loved it back in 2010. I was kind of disappointed now, but I still enjoyed the action, so I put it at passable. Same thing then with Resident Evil 1. It's the Resident Evil movie that most resembles a movie, so it's kind of good. I put it there. And next to it, the Mortal Kombat movie, which has not aged well. I remember I loved that movie when I was a kid. It's and then I rewatched it back in 2013 maybe. And it's pretty bad. Like for a fight movie, the choreography is so like terrible. Like they don't have any martial artists in the movie. They all just do like just generic punching and kicking. It's so stupid. But it's still like an enjoyable movie.
And as I said, there's some good effects.
Sure, and a lot of like cool miniature stuff and like matte paintings and stuff. It's a kind of pretty good looking movie for its time.
I haven't seen it in years, but is Goro still cool?
Goro works. It's a good
works.
Puppet / makeup job. Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
You totally buy that he has 4 arms. It works.
Yeah, because I remember that was like amazing.
Yeah. You kind of see it now. You're like, okay, those are his fake arms. Those are the real ones. But it still works. Definitely works. Yeah. And then the Tomb Raider movies, like, they're fine adventure movies. That's all I have to say about those.
I disagree.
Oh, okay.
I really don't like them. I think they're super bad. Well, I only saw the first one because again, I didn't like the first one, so I didn't bother with the second one. But I think the first one is just it's a clusterfuck of weirdness. And I don't think the action is that good either. It's just, it feels like you're filming someone going through an amusement ride.
Okay, well, I haven't seen it in a few years, but just from what I
Mm.
remember, I thought it was an okay adventure movie. But
Well, this is
maybe
this
I'll
is
have to
what
rewatch it.
this is what I got first time I saw it when it was new.
Okay.
I thought it
Oh.
was felt plastic and fake and like really just bad.
Huh.
So I never rewatched it. So maybe I was overcritical. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I do know that I don't like the whole training sequence where she fights a robot. That is just
Ugh.
like, what?
Yeah.
What is a robot doing here? But
Because I
yeah.
remember like there are a few sequences I don't know if it's the beginning or when she's in like a temple underground
Mm.
and she's alone, I think. I don't know, but
I don't.
there's some swinging things that she needs to jump through, and
Oh yeah.
it all looks like plastic.
Well,
I mean,
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
boulder in Indiana Jones looked better.
Yeah, because that was a real boulder. This was made in the early 2000s where everything was CG. So yeah, it definitely looks bad.
Yeah, so yeah,
But
like
I enjoy.
that's a D tier for me.
Oh, okay, okay.
That's ugh.
Well, you know what? Just since we're kind of doing this together, we'll put it at C. We'll compromise and put it at C. We can put the second one there as well because they go hand in hand. They're the same
Yeah.
movie basically.
Yeah.
So we're moving on to the A tier. Well, we already talked about Tekken, and I still feel you're right. I should have put it at A. It's a pretty good movie, which is
And
kind
I
of
still haven't seen it, so I
Yeah.
don't know anything about it.
but it's kind of weird because it got so bad reviews. It's like one of the worst reviewed movies on the list. But I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I need to rewatch it maybe. But then we have the new Tomb Raider movie.
Not seen because I hated the original with Angelina Jolie,
Yeah.
so it's tainted forever.
Oh, okay. Well, this one is based more on the newer games, the rebooted games. And I enjoyed the first one at least. I thought they were trying too hard with the second one. Never played the third one. The movie, just like the other ones, it's a fine adventure movie. It works on its own. It doesn't try to be like the game too much. Like, there's no like, oh, if you've played the game, you remember this sequence. So you can enjoy it as just a movie. Alicia Vikander, she put a lot of work into becoming Lara Croft, like behind the scenes, and it shows in the movie. Biggest problem is that it's kind of boring. Not a lot happens until like the end. And the most exciting action scene in the whole movie is a bike race early in the game, in the movie, which is kind of bad when you're making like a hardcore action adventure movie on a tropical island. That a bike race through London is the best action scene. But hey, it was good. That scene was good. It's an enjoyable movie, I would say, and it's definitely better than the Angelina Jolie movies.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah. And then Double Dragon. I wrote on Twitter that 10-year-old
So,
me.
Just Gabby is telling he's online now. So
Oh, okay. Should we? Wait, let's see. Can I call him up? I'll just do this.
yeah. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, let's see what happens. Add him to the. There he is. Should be able to do that, right? Oh.
Hello.
Hello. Are we all?
Hello.
Wait.
Yeah. Did we destroy the stream?
I don't know. Let me look. No, we're fine. I just gotta adjust the screen a little bit.
Alright.
There and there. We're all here.
So you got my message.
Oh yeah. You were at the cinema watching Detective Pikachu, which is very, very fitting for the topic. Let's just quickly run through the end of my tier list, and then
Where are you at now? Because the last I heard was Mortal Kombat.
we're at
We're at
we're at
the
the
A
A
tier.
tier, and we're gonna talk about Double Dragon. Hello? Did he disappear? Gabbe? Okay.
Yeah, hello. Now.
Oh,
now
there you are. Okay.
It was lagging for a bit. Double Dragon.
What happened?
No, I'm here.
I don't know.
Hello.
Wait.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
What is happening?
Yes, Double Dragon.
And now he... Oh, Gabbe. All right.
Destroying the stream.
Let's just talk about Double Dragon. There we go. Yes, Double Dragon. When I watched it, I wrote on Twitter that 10-year-old me would absolutely love it because it's like it's a cool post-apocalyptic action movie with some a lot of explosions, fight scenes, like funny weird characters. So yeah, 10-year-old me would absolutely love it. 30-year-old me or 29-year-old me, not so much. I can still appreciate all those things that 10-year-old me likes. But, yeah, it hasn't aged well. But, I mean, for what it is, it's an okay, like, mid-90s, like, action comedy. It works. It kind of, it follows those hero's journey beats pretty well. So that helps. Like, all movies that follow that hero's journey do. So that really helps. The plot is kind of, like, the plot is pretty thin. The bad guy, he's the bad guy because they say he's the bad guy, and his goal is to be bad. He doesn't have he wants to take over the world. There's no like deeper thing than that. He's just, I just want to be super powerful. So, hello, can take over the world. Are you back, Gabba?
Hello? Do you hear
There.
me?
Yes, we hear you. We can even well, no, we can't see right now. We're looking at the tier, but I can see you. Yeah. Or your picture.
Yeah.
So I put it on the A tier because, like, for a younger audience, I think it would definitely work even today, because it has a pretty brisk pace. It's fun. You laugh a lot. There's good action scenes. It's good. I could maybe move it down to B, but I enjoyed it too much. And then we get to the S rank, which is supposed to be the best of the best, but here it's one that I actually fully enjoyed, but I can't say it's a good movie. I didn't even know, when I watched Rampage, I didn't know it was based on a video game. They don't mention it in the movie.
I didn't know it until you put it this show. I mean,
Have you never played Rampage?
No, I
No,
never played Rampage.
Oh,
What's that?
that's
And it doesn't say.
it's exactly like the game, I think, but you are the monster.
Yeah, you play like gigantic monsters that like tear apart a city or fight other monsters or something.
Have you seen Wreck-It Ralph?
No.
Have anyone of you seen Wreck-It
yeah,
Ralph?
I've seen Wreck-It Ralph.
You're basically like Ralph, and destroying, instead of a building, you're destroying a city.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, but nowhere in the movie does it mention like based on the video game by blah blah blah. It was just a movie. I was like, hey, this is a super cool movie. Like huge alligators and gigantic wolves tearing a city apart, and fucking Dwayne Johnson trying to capture them with his bare hands, and so it's just like this like super fun, over the top, testosterone filled action adventure, and it was like this is pretty fun, and it's like because usually movies don't go that over the top, like making like huge monsters that attack a city like in a goofy way that way. But then when I found out it was based on a game, I was like, oh, that's why it's so over the top.
Makes sense.
Someone else thought about making a game of it first. That makes so much sense. But I've seen it a couple of times. I think because I think it was on Netflix or is on Netflix. So I've seen it after the theater, and it's
on Netflix.
yeah, it's fun. Dwayne Johnson is, as always, super charming. It's fairly well put together. It's just it's a great old time at the cinema. So, I mean, like I said, it's no masterpiece. I wouldn't put it next to fucking, like, Seventh Seal or anything, but it's a fun movie. So that's why I put it on S rank. It could probably go down to A rank, but I wanted to put at least one movie on each rank, so I put it on S rank. And I'm going to keep it there.
So, Gabba, you've been listening in a while.
Yeah.
Any big complaints?
Dead or Alive and Ticket. I mean, I love shitty movies, but those movies. I mean, I could watch them again, but not alone like I did when I watched them, because none of my friends want to watch those movies.
I'll watch Tekken with you. Christopher will watch Dead or Alive with you. I'll do it too.
Yeah, definitely.
Like we talked about, we both enjoy Christopher hasn't watched Tekken, but I enjoy both of those movies, like for real. And Christopher really likes Dead or Alive. I mean,
Yeah.
they're
I
fun.
made you. You forgot to mention that I made you watch Alone in the Dark.
Oh yeah,
I
mean,
think I bought it for you.
oh yes, someone bought it for me. It's in my my shelf over here somewhere. Yeah, that's a terrible one. That's why I put
It's
it
when
at F.
we were like in high school. I always bought like shitty Christmas gifts to people.
Oh yeah.
And,
So
and
that
then
was-
you evolved and gave one good present and one shitty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I gave that to you, didn't I?
Yeah, you gave me Alvin and the Chipmunks then on DVD. I think
Yeah, I
Alvin and the
remember.
Chipmunks 2.
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't the first. The squeakquel.
The squeak
Yeah.
one. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, thanks for that.
And then I think I gave you a good one as well. I don't.
Yeah, it was a
remember.
good movie too, but I don't know.
But you don't remember that one.
No, that didn't leave an impression.
No, because you had the squeakquel to watch. Did you watch it?
Of course not. It's still unopened.
Oh
in,
no.
In my box of DVDs.
As it should
bottom.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gaba, just quickly, how many of these video game movies have you watched?
I have.
Going back to
Do I
the
have to confess?
dude, I don't know if you've heard that. I watched all of these over this week. I mean, I'd seen a lot of them before, but I watched everyone I hadn't seen before. So I've seen all.
I mean,
these now.
I haven't seen Doom because I've heard terrible things about it.
Well, Doom is not the worst one. So
Yeah,
you have seen worse video game movies. I've seen
No,
them with you.
I have seen your, bottom of
Oh,
your F tier movies.
okay. Now I can hear you.
I've seen all of them.
Yeah.
I've seen. Because my audio is weird.
Yeah, you're lagging a lot.
Yeah, I'm noticing it. Let me try to leave the conversation and rejoin it.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Oh, now you can't see me. Wait. Oh,
Hello?
there I am. Hello? Yes.
Hello. We'll see if this is better. So, Gabe,
Hands down, Detective Pikachu is the best movie, and it should. If you haven't seen it, you guys should see it.
Oh, okay.
okay.
So from S to F, where would you put it?
It's definitely it's the best one. I mean, I've always defended Prince of Persia for being like the best video game movie because I thought it wasn't as bad as the other ones, and it was
I
quite
agree.
enjoyable. And I saw it in the cinemas as well.
Oh, okay. I didn't do that.
I mean, usually watching a movie in the cinemas makes the experience and everything better.
Yeah, usually.
I mean, I saw Avatar twice in the cinemas.
But where would you put Detective Pikachu?
S rank definitely.
S rank. Okay. I mean, yeah, based on video game movies. Oh, okay, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
best on video game movies. I mean, it's
Is it an actually good movie?
yes and no.
Okay then.
I mean, there's some bad parts, but you kind of. I mean, it's a Ryan Reynolds movie.
Yeah, that probably helps.
I
Lot.
mean,
but I mean, if you're not a
It's like
Pokemon
the
fan,
Rampage. No, I think you would enjoy the. If you're not a Pokemon fan, why are you watching it?
no, exactly. That's why I didn't go see it. Okay,
I mean, and also, I mean, if you're Ryan Reynolds fans, why aren't you watching it?
okay, yeah. It kind of feels like he's sort of playing like Deadpool, but a PG-13 version of Deadpool.
It's kind of dark and it has some. I don't want to give too much away.
No, but I
But-
heard that too. That it gets kind of dark at some.
It gets
points.
dark and has some sexual innuendos.
Whoa.
Pokemon
porn.
It isn't for kids.
Okay,
It's
that's
I mean,
weird. A
it's
Pokemon
for-
movie that's
yeah,
not
like
for
you
kids.
said, like PG-13.
Okay.
Basically.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think I like Prince of Persia because, sure, it's still like the '90s adventure movies, like The Mummy.
Yeah.
It has that sort of feeling. So
Yeah.
that one I would put like A or B. in my opinion, because you don't have to be a lover of the
The video
video game
game.
franchise.
No.
Because
Okay.
Prince of Persia franchise sucks, and I mean the old one.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was so difficult and boring.
No, those are terrible games.
But then again, I mean, I even enjoy Max Payne, not watching by myself, but laughing how bad. I mean, if
It works
you
in
have
that
a
way.
class,
Yeah.
yeah, if you
So bad that
I
it's
mean,
good.
you hadn't seen it, and I made you see it.
Yeah. And
I mean, I made you see a lot of crap movies that are video game.
yeah, and I don't really regret watching Max Payne, but I could have done
It's a fun
well enough
movie.
without it. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's a fun movie experience with your friends.
Yes. Right. So, moving on, I suppose. Like why are all these movies so terrible? Do we have any idea why they can't seem to make an actual good video game movie? What is the main problem?
I think the problem is that people who make movies don't play video games.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even watch Let's Play of the game. I think they read what the game's about, they see a trailer for the game, and then they try to make a movie out of that. So they don't do the proper research, I think.
Okay. But is that like is that all?
Nowadays, I'd say that, like Assassin's Creed and forward, or Prince of
Yeah.
Persia and forward, but
Maybe.
and before that, it was only just something that would sell. To use the name to sell something, you don't really care about games as such. You just
Hello? Christopher?
throw together a movie, put a game name. You do the overbowl.
Okay. There, you were lagging a bit, but I think you're kind of back now. Maybe not. Hello?
Hello.
There you are.
Yeah, it just froze. Everything froze for me.
Okay. Now
For
you're
me
back.
as well.
Mm.
I mean,
Yeah.
I heard something about the Uwe Boll way.
Yeah.
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 Yes.
Everything before
On the
Prince of
name.
Persia.
Yeah.
Everything before Prince of Persia, it was the same philosophy as Uwe Boll. You
Yeah,
throw
you-
something together and you slap a title on it to make the kids buy it.
Yes. Yes.
I think Prince of Persia and forward, there is more respect. You can see it as an art form, and you have heard the outrage, but you don't do the proper research. You don't understand it.
no.
You think you do, but you don't.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look, for example, on Hitman or the Lara Croft movies, yeah, it's like, yeah, he's a killer and he's stoic. Okay, so more. There's a story, right? No, he's just a killer who's stoic.
Mm.
What about the clones then? What clones? There was no clones in the trailer. Fuck that. I mean,
yeah. Yeah.
Same with Lara Croft. I mean, there was, yeah, it's Indiana Jones, but she's a girl and she fights more.
Yeah. Yeah, and I also think like we talked a little bit about how we would do a Resident Evil reboot.
Mm.
Not every game translates well to a movie format.
No.
Like especially that's so weird because there's a lot of video game movies are based on fighting games like Mortal Kombat, two of them, two Street Fighters. There's a Tekken movie, Double Dragon. Those movies don't really have a lot of plot, or if they have a plot,
no.
it's kind of nonsensical. So all you really have are the fights. And sure, you can make a movie about a boxing movie or a fighting movie, but there has to be some sort of plot as well. And usually they only take what little is there, and that's not enough to like engage you as a viewer. So then all you have are the fights. And the only fight movie that works for me was Tekken because it's rated R. It's kind of brutal. It's fast paced. But I mean, the plot in that movie doesn't really work. The hero stuff works because it follows the hero's journey, but the plot in and of itself, it's very, very thin. And I think it's that way with a lot of a lot of games or movies based on games. Like even if you take a game with like a lot of story in it, like The Last of Us, that wouldn't. I don't think that would make a good movie because that game takes it's like 20 hours long.
Yeah.
And they
More like
use
a mini-series.
yeah, maybe like a mini series,
But as a movie specifically,
It wouldn't.
no.
It's a lot of plot to get in and
Yeah.
character development, so it's
yeah,
kind of hard to put it in like 1.5 hour, 2 hours.
Yeah, and
exactly.
it's just like taking the most story-heavy cinematic series like ever, Metal Gear Solid, would never work.
Yeah, that's why I'm a little worried because they are making a Metal Gear movie, or at least it's announced.
But like Christopher said, at least he respects the
Yes.
IP and has a big love of the games. I don't think I'm hoping it's gonna work, but
I'm very worried, and I remember I tweeted that at him that I'm both excited and very worried. I don't remember if he responded, but I mean I like him as a director. Whatever his name is, he made
Jason Vaught Roberts.
Oh yeah, right. Because he made the new
Kong.
King Kong movie, and I really enjoyed that one.
That was like a video game.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, that was like a video game. It worked. Jordan Vogt Roberts, right? And he's a gamer. He likes the games. He's friends with Hideo Kojima, which helps, I suppose.
But again, I need to stress, I don't blame mostly the directors. I think it's the producers that's the problem.
Yeah, that they just want to slap something together.
Usually, I think have him and do the research, but the producers say, no, this won't work. It's too complicated. You can't use this. More of this thing that I saw on TV commercials, and I think that's what's sinking the movies mostly, because I think the directors do their job. I think most. I mean, if I would based on something, if I would do it based on a book, I read the book.
Yeah.
If I do it, I play the game. I mean, of course you do. But as a producer, the money person, you don't really do that research.
No, that's true. I agree with that.
And most of the games are about. I hate to say this cliche, but it's about the journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
And a movie needs to have like a good beginning, middle, and ending part.
Yeah. So yeah, I think just in general, it can be kind of hard to translate a video game story to a movie.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's,
I think you shouldn't do it. I think you should. There are a few games that maybe you can do a movie about. Like I could see maybe making a movie in the Witcher universe, not the Witcher story, but Witcher universe.
Yeah.
Same with I don't know, like this what's it called, Dishonored game. It could work to make like that story, but most game you can't do it because it's another art. It's another art.
It's a different medium.
Yeah,
media.
It's like basing a movie on a song.
Yeah. Yeah.
And things people have done it obviously, but but you shouldn't.
No.
I mean, look at the Swedish director.
Which
He
one?
went from making movies to making video games.
Yeah.
Who? Oh,
Fares.
Josef.
Oh no, Josef. His cousin is Fares, right? Or is
His brother. Fares. That's the actor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and he's kind of done that transition pretty well because his games,
Got praised.
they're praised. They're fun. I've not played through them, but I've played them, and he's made the transition very well because, once again, like the first game he made, the Brotherhood game, A Tale of Two Brothers or whatever it was called. It wouldn't work as a movie, but as a game it worked with character development and story and then gameplay. It worked, but it wouldn't have worked as a movie. And that's a different thing also. Like, well, I was going to say name one video game based on a movie that's good, but there are. But in Spider-Man 2. But in general, games based on movies doesn't work because they're trying to take something from one medium into another, and it usually doesn't work. There are a few good ones, like Spider-Man, but not much more than that.
No.
I like the Lord of the Ring games that came out with the movies.
Yeah, they were fine.
They're fun to play. I mean, they
Yeah.
weren't the greatest movie as a game, video games.
No,
Yeah, I mean-
they were good beat 'em ups.
There are some good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there are some. As there's some games that could be made movies. There's some movies that could be made into game, but usually no, because
No, exactly.
it's two different experiences.
Yeah.
One you live through, and you like if you take for example point and click adventure.
Yeah.
I mean, you put yourself in a situation.
Now you're lagging a lot again.
But
you'll be back soon, I think. I don't know what's going on with the internet. Hello? Anyone? Okay. I can hear someone writing. Well, we're having some technical difficulties here. I don't know. Usually it doesn't happen this. Usually isn't this bad. We have some lagging sometimes. But what were we talking about? Christopher was talking about. I completely forgot now. Oh my God! I can see you again. Hello.
Yeah. Gabba jumped out and everything's fine now. So
Yes.
it seems like he brought down the entire stream.
Yeah. Well, he is just a guest, and now he was done guesting. I don't know, maybe because he jumped in halfway through and something.
Yeah.
But well, if he comes back, he comes back. Anyway, what were you saying? I completely forgot now because of
Yeah,
this.
I was talking about point and click adventures, that you put
Yeah.
so much into the adventure when you point and click that you get engaged, but actually it's usually kind of boring. And if you would like watch it without have that engagement, it's just boring trial and error.
Yeah, I love like the point and click genre.
Yeah.
Like the Monkey Island and Broken Sword and whatever. But I mean, those games when you first play them, you sit for like hours and hours and hours trying to like progress a few percentage of the story.
Yeah.
That's part of the journey though, figuring out the puzzles, and that wouldn't translate into a movie very well. So yeah, that's just the way it is. Like we said, it's two different mediums.
Yeah, and also like Metal Gear Solid, that's a prime example with there's too much story.
Yeah,
It's so much story that you can't you can't like grasp it if you're not living through it.
yeah, exactly.
Like a little over dramatic, but
no, I know what you mean. You can't cram it into like two even 3 hours.
no.
I mean, even the shortest one of those takes like 5-6 hours to finish if you know what you're doing. Like,
Yeah.
there is that much stuff in it. So yeah.
Wow. So I would say regarding this whole debate, you shouldn't do it. Don't base movies on games. And
Yeah.
don't base games on movies.
No.
Keep them separate arts.
Yes. And
I mean, it's even hard to. I'm sorry for interrupting you.
you're back.
I mean, it's even hard to make them animated because they tried doing that with the Persona 5,
Yeah.
making an anime, and the anime. I mean, it's stunning and everything, but it's so much story and side things and
Yeah, and
character development. They can't fit it in
like 90 minutes.
anime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
also
anime is like 20 minutes.
oh, that's true, yeah. And also those games have a lot of like social interactions where you're trying to get like
Exactly.
you try to become friends or like get in a relationship with people, and that's not fun to watch. It's fun to play, but it's not fun to watch. That's why the most popular let's players or streamers, they usually play like a fast-paced like first-person shooter game because there's always stuff happening. Like I tried to stream Broken Sword like last year. Nobody watched because it's a lot of fun to play. It's not a lot of fun to watch. Like I said before.
Yeah. And then
And I think
And
that's the fundamental problem with video game movies.
And I think that they keep trying making video games movies because in the media it still isn't regarded as an art form.
No,
I mean,
yeah.
it's more now than it was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Now it's taken seriously most of the time, but still, it's like, yeah, but it's not a movie though. I mean,
Mm.
you have some good stuff here. We can make a movie about it, but you know what you have there is not really art.
Yeah, it's just a silly
Uh,
video game for kids.
Yeah,
And then you
I
look,
can see that you have some good things there that we can use.
yeah, and then you look at games like Shadow of the Colossus or The Last of Us, and like, oh no, that's just silly games for kids. Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in The Last of Us, you're just going around killing people.
Oh
and,
right, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
Well, that's one thing. Like, where even like a very story heavy like cinematic game like that kind of breaks immersion for me. Just to, I don't know if this is like a tangent or something, especially like in The Last of Us and in Grand Theft Auto 4.
Mm-hmm.
Those two games, they have very grounded, like the stories are very grounded for what they are, and the characters are well developed, and they both revolve around mostly GTA 4, but to some extent The Last of Us as well. They revolve around like life and death and like coming to terms with taking lives. That's more in GTA 4, but there's some there in The Last of Us. It's also a little bit in Far Cry 3, but for now we'll stick to those two. Because there's a point in GTA 4. You've played it, right? You both played it.
I've
GTA
only
4,
played. I've only played online.
Oh, okay. There is this point in the game, in the story, like I don't know, like 3 or 4 hours in, where you spoilers for this 11-year-old game, where you kill. He's called something. It's the Russian loan shark that is always after your cousin, in the beginning of the game.
I want to say
Oh,
Sal,
the
but I
fourth
don't
one.
think it's.
No.
I was thinking about the fifth one. No, I played the fourth.
Yeah, but you actually you capture him because he's always threatening your brother or your cousin because he wants his money and stuff, and you capture him and you drag him out to the docks where you're going to execute him, and it's this big like serious scene where he has to decide to, is he gonna take a life or not, because he's an old war veteran, he's done with killing and all that. It's a great scene that could work in a movie. The problem is, at that point in the game, you have killed hundreds of people, blown up buildings, like crashed cars. So it's like him actually contemplating taking a life doesn't translate, because why do you care now? You didn't care 10 minutes ago. And it's the same problem in The Last of Us and a lot of games that are very story heavy. Like, between the cutscenes, they just become these empty video game characters.
But I mean that's a big. The problem there isn't really the game design. It's, well, yeah, sort of, but it they want you to play the game in a certain way, and if you
Yeah.
don't do that, these emotional arcs doesn't make sense.
That's true.
They want to give you the freedom to do whatever you want, but they still prefer if you'd play it this special way. That we won't inform you what it is, but we want you to play like that.
Yeah.
For example,
and I mean,
Snake Eater.
because I think in GTA, at that moment, you could make through the whole game without killing anyone. And
Yeah, more or less, yes.
at that point, not later in the game, but at that point, I think you could have made through all the game without killing anyone.
Yeah.
And I think, but that would be super hard.
Yes.
Wouldn't-
I've
wouldn't
tried.
be- It wouldn't be fun to play that way.
No, it makes the
they
game
want
very
you-
hard.
Yeah, but they want you to do it.
Yeah.
So I think that's the problem, and that's one of the problems, but also one of the nice things about games, that you can go against the author's wishes.
Sure.
And say, you know what? No, I don't want your story. I'm gonna make my own story.
Yeah.
But it's like with the Metal Gear games, they encourage you to play it
Stealthily.
like
Yeah.
stealthily
Try
until
not
you
to
try
kill
to
anyone.
do it. Then, for some reason, your stupid fucking character won't crouch. So you have a mental breakdown to start shooting everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Because the third one has one of those things with one of the bosses.
Which one?
The third one, Snake Eater.
Yeah, but what boss?
When you die. In quotations,
Oh, yeah.
I realized that I don't have a webcam, but I did the quotation sign anyway.
Okay.
Because then you see all the people you have killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They start to drag you down.
But I think Metal Gear, in contrast to GTA 4,
Yeah.
yeah, Metal Gear at least tries to point you in the right direction.
Yeah.
I mean, GTA don't do that, and that's
No.
that's their
No,
legacy. I
exactly.
mean,
That-
their legacy have like, even when you heard the name GTA, you get an image in your head, and they still trying to go. They still want to have that image.
Yeah.
It's like stuck.
Yeah, and that's why they made the Trevor character in GTA 5, I think. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, he's a GTA player. Go ahead, have fun. We don't care anymore.
You can come on, play him a third of the time, okay? And then
Yeah,
the
exactly.
rest of the time you play him as we want, okay?
Yeah,
Can we
yeah.
do that? Compromise.
Because I always remember, because when I bought the fourth one, I tried to play like a person,
Yeah.
but then I always had an
seriously.
asshole friend that goes, "Oh, if you put this cheat code in and you tried not to, so your file got fucked." And then you remember the code, so then after a while you couldn't not use the code.
Yeah.
It's just like Sims. You can't play it. It's destroyed forever.
Yeah. But yeah. So I think like even though we have games that more and more resemble movies, I think there's always going to be a divide. I don't think that we're ever going to get like a perfect balance between a movie and a game. There's always going to be these things that, oh no, this works better as a game and this works better as a movie. It's always going to be like that.
It's
I
so
think.
hard, like
Yeah.
cramming it down to 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah.
Or your ideal is like 1.5 hour, is it?
Well, yeah, for a movie, yeah, between 90 and 120 minutes. That's perfect, I think. Yeah, and that's not ideal for a game.
If you got to choose one game that would be made a movie, what would you think would work?
What would work? Well, what I would want to see is like an Uncharted movie, but I don't think that would work for the same reasons that we just talked about.
Yeah,
But
but
what I
now we're talking about what would work.
yeah, what would work? I don't know. Maybe some of these kind of more like interactive movie type games, like Heavy Rain, maybe, because that's
Yeah,
basically already a movie.
Heavy Rain would actually work.
Yeah,
But it had to be at least like 2.5 hours.
yeah.
I'm not sure if that would work. I think that wouldn't be interesting.
No, maybe not. I don't know.
I don't think it would be a good. It would be kind of a boring movie. I think, because
Maybe.
again, I think that's one of those movies that it feels like it's super deep because you made the choices, but when you strip those choices away, it's kind of a boring story, really.
Yeah, okay.
Then should you just take the most interesting choices, like when
Yeah.
he cuts his finger.
Yeah. But yeah, like off the top of my head,
Miniseries is the best thing, I think. If you have to,
Which one?
if you do it as a mini series, like an 8-episode thing.
that could probably work. But like off the top of my head, I can't really think of a game. Do you have any, Christopher?
I mean, not by the. I mean, I know a lot of games where the setting would work in a movie, but not the story itself. As I said, The Witcher movies, the Witcher world is perfect for a movie.
Yeah.
But not the Witcher storylines. That wouldn't
No.
work
No.
because they're too big and too grandiose. It wouldn't work, but in the world.
My Crash Bandicoot idea, I had a couple of.
Oh
streams ago.
yeah, when we did the elevator pitch episode.
I think it actually could work now after watching Detective Pikachu. And if Edgar Wright made it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna go back to that stream because I remember. Yeah, I think we all agreed that Crash Bandicoot movie kind of could work.
Was the funniest idea, but wasn't the best one.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that could work, but because really, what's the plot of it? It's him trying to take over the world by making this mutant
Bandicoot?
bandicoot.
I just checked through my Steam library, just to see if I had anything. One, it's an indie game that I think would work.
Yeah.
Which one?
There's the Cat Lady.
Oh, I've heard about it. I haven't played it.
It's the black and white game,
Yeah.
point and click adventure. It's that's a. I think that would work. It's in broad strokes. It's a middle-aged woman who tries to take her own life, and is then in like limbo. She's meeting the like the angel of death or something, and gives her life back in exchange for her hunting down some terrible people because they don't deserve to live.
Okay.
I mean, it's a little the Crow esque,
Yeah.
but more I don't want to say dark, but because I mean it's the Crow. It's the,
Yeah. It's
the
pretty
edgiest
dark and
movie
edgy.
ever
Yeah,
made.
yeah.
I mean, it's more depressing and melancholic than the Crow.
Okay.
Because she
Yeah,
doesn't
that's what
like to do it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I got out from reading about the game and watching some trailers. It's like it looked super depressing.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I don't want to play this.
I recommend it for everyone because it's
Okay.
amazing. And
Okay.
yes, it has some extreme lows and depressing, but there's some good highs too. So I mean, it's not always in the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So that could work.
I think that could work, but that's because it's like an artsy indie game that only cares about the story. So I mean,
Yeah. And
I
then
have none of my games would make a good movie. I mean, it would make a good series, but not a movie.
you and your
Yeah.
series.
yeah,
I mean, it could work. That's I mean, that's the only
Yeah.
because then you have time to develop characters.
Yeah, exactly. But then we're missing the point. That's
Exactly.
the point.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So do you have like? I mean, I don't want an. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I don't want a new like MCU thingy.
no, no. I was just thinking about like the games I have installed or playing right now. I just thought about this. It's more of a joke thing, but the Stranded Deep. Have you played that or have you
Oh.
heard about it? The survival game.
I saw you playing it.
Oh yeah,
while back.
the Deserted Island game.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha! They've actually made a movie based on that. It's Castaway. So in a way, you know, it's backwards. That kind of works.
How about Super Meat Boy?
I'm just what?
What?
Could that work?
No. Why would that work?
That would work as a
I think
like a Saturday
like a wacky comic.
like a Saturday morning cartoon. That would work, but
Yeah,
for adults.
that could work.
But
Yeah,
for adults
that
because
could
it's very
work.
violent. Sure.
But I mean, not like the movie.
No, like a miniseries.
I'm telling you, miniseries. That's the thing. That's
That's the
hard
future.
part.
Yeah. Making miniseries.
That's the day you stop watching things. When they we're gonna stop making movies. Only miniseries from here on out.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll
No.
I don't know what I'm gonna do then.
Yeah.
Because then I don't
mean-
have nothing left to live for. I'll have my old movies to watch, but that'll last me like a couple of years. What I'll do after that? I don't know.
Alan Wake could kind of work,
Alan Wake.
but if they made it
yeah,
more like a horror
yes,
movie,
more
like the
horror,
game should
less
have
action.
been,
Yes,
that's the only bad thing about Alan Wake.
There's a lot of things in that game that you can cut out without missing.
Exactly.
Anything.
Yeah. Thinking about that, like games that have like almost that tell like a complete story, in the cutscenes. So like if you cut out the gameplay, you almost have like a complete movie.
Yeah.
There are those kind of games. I would say Uncharted 4 would work like that. I even started doing that, but it's like 30 hours of material to edit, so I just stopped. I stopped 10% in, but still, like you could basically cut out all gameplay from that game and turn it into a movie. I guess that could work. But then you're missing the excitement of actually playing the game. So.
Did you guys play Hellblade? Senua's Sacrifice.
Oh yes, I haven't finished it yet. It's kind of depressing.
I haven't finished it either.
No. I played it for a few hours. I put it down like, ugh, I gotta take a break. I'll play this another day. Never picked it up. Not because it's bad. It's a great game, but
I did the exact same thing.
it's really that one. It's
taxing. It's taxing.
Yes,
on your
it's
mental health.
It's straining to play that game.
What about this game, Dungeon Siege? Oh no, they already made it.
Ha 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 ha! Shut up.
That movie's so terrible.
It's one of the better with a ball movies, I would say, but
Yeah, but that's like.
That game wasn't on the list. Or that movie.
I just called
Yeah, it was
it
a
In the
F.
Name of the King.
Oh,
It's so long.
oh,
It's
okay.
In the Name of the King, a Dungeon Siege
Dungeon
tale.
Siege
It's
tale.
way too long.
Okay. Fair.
Yeah. But yeah, Senua's Sacrifice, Hellblade.
Yeah.
I don't know, but once again, that's where they're using the medium of video games to tell a
True.
story that might not work because you have the binaural, the voices in
Yeah.
your head and all the visual stuff. I don't think would translate. Those are the kind of
Yeah.
games that are made nowadays that kind of transcend how you tell stories in a movie, and they use the video game medium to do it differently. Like you made me play the Beginner's Guide, I think.
Yeah, the beginner's guide. Yeah.
Great story, great game. It would never work as a movie.
No.
Same thing with another game you made me play. What's it called? What Remains of Edith Finch. Would
Yes.
never work as a movie. Great game,
No.
great story.
Yeah.
And
What
I
about
think
that Kid Cancer game? What's it called?
The Dragon Cancer?
the Dragon,
Dragon-
Cancer.
Dragon. Or, wait.
I think the dad made it to cope.
Yeah,
with,
it's the one. It's the Dragon something. Dragon Cancer. Dragon.
I never
Something.
heard of it.
I mean that
I
could
didn't play
actually
it,
work.
but
I heard
Yeah.
about it. I watched
Yeah.
PewDiePie cry.
Oh, it's called that dragon, cancer.
What?
Because that story seems, I mean,
Let me
Huh?
look this
really
up.
heartbreaking and beautiful. It could work in like
That
abstract way.
Dragon Cancer. Okay.
I think. I mean, because
I've
'cause-
never heard of it.
mostly of all the games that we play that have great stories,
Mm,
they're like 20 plus hours.
yeah.
So it wouldn't work to cram it down to.
No.
Well, yeah, and speaking of games like this, that Dragon Cancer or Hellblade or What Remains of Edith Finch, I think that's like the future of like storytelling in video games. Instead of trying to turn them into movies,
Yeah.
you actually like you use the medium of interactivity that you have in video games to tell the story in a very different and more interesting way.
I think the one thing that games can do that movies can't do, and I don't think movies ever will be able to do, is to tell these really small stories. These really small and intimate stories. Like what remains of Edith Finch. It's a great story because it's just a person's fate, more or less.
Yeah.
And it's no big things. There's no high adventures or no character arc. It's just this was my life.
Yeah.
It was like this.
Yeah.
And
And like one that I really like, Gone Home. Like
Yeah, same.
it's not a very interesting story to like watch, but experiencing it from that first person's perspective is amazing. That is like a genuinely like emotionally touching game or
Yeah.
story, I should say.
and because of these things, I get so frustrated when people don't call these games games.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's no puzzle solving, there's no action. It's like, no, but you're still playing the game.
Yeah, and
You're still experiencing it like
Yeah.
from that perspective that you can't in
mean-
any other medium.
yeah.
It depends what the game is for. Really, so it's stupid not calling it a game.
Yeah.
Some people wouldn't call Tetris a game,
No.
Yeah.
or The Walking Dead, Telltale.
Oh yeah.
I mean, The Walking Dead season 1 Telltale. If they made like a movie based on that story,
Yeah, you know what?
That
That
could
could have
work.
been a season of the show, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah, it would've
it's
been-
better than the other seasons of the show.
Yeah.
it started to get okay after the fourth one.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's around the fourth one that I asked myself,
I
why am I
know.
watching this? And I
Everyone
stopped.
quits at the fourth
The
one,
fourth one is so
and it
fucking terrible.
and it actually got better after that one.
But I was
Which one? Which one is the fourth one? Is that the
That's-
one before?
Post prison.
yeah, it's after,
yeah.
and it's like after the governor is exiled from his
Yeah, the
place.
post prison one.
Yeah.
Basically.
I think I stopped after the fifth one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
The season before Negan. That's where I stopped.
I don't know. I never
Okay.
watched that far. I thought the first season was great. I thought it could have ended there.
Yeah.
Because I like movies, so it had
I think
that
I
movie
think
structure.
Yeah.
Second
Maybe the way to
season,
go is movies based on video games. Like you said, have the world and everything.
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
not take the actual
not take
story,
the-
but just basing it on the world.
Yeah, and they can
yeah.
have like the cliche based on a true story, but based on a video game.
Based on
Yeah,
a
I mean-
video game.
There's a lot of good. I mean, that games are really great at world building.
Yes, that it works much better.
Yeah.
I hate world. I've said this so many times. I hate world building in movies, but I love it in games. Like one of my favorite games of all time is Mass Effect, and that's like 50% world building.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
a
'cause
Mass
I-
Effect movie could work if it was based on that
No,
world.
no. Oh, no, maybe. But that is so
Uh.
interactive, and you make so many choices. I
I
don't
think-
Yeah,
think
but
that would
if
work.
it's not with the Shepard or
But
some
I
other
think
part.
Mass Effect is too high sci-fi to be interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like
And-
Star Trek Voyager kind of sci-fi.
And those stories, even if it's just based on the world, like those stories become so like intensely personal in all the choices you make and all the characters you meet. So like
Yeah.
if it's gonna be just about generic like commander guy in space, like
Yeah.
nah, just call it space.
You know what
movie
they could
instead.
do? Speaking of The Last of Us, they could do
Miniseries?
a movie based on The Last of Us, the game, the world building,
Yeah.
but have it about when the start of the Fireflies.
Yeah.
That could
So
work.
it could be kind of like the Black Panther movie that's about the Black Panthers.
Hmm.
You know, how they started to.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
So I mean, that could work.
Yeah, and
It
I mean,
could be interesting, but
yeah,
it
I
would.
mean, Portal Universe would be great too.
Maybe. Once again, you have that interactivity that's completely gone from a movie.
No, but I mean,
Based on the universe.
yeah, exactly. I mean, think of a Portal movie, but there's like some kind of journalist that tries to understand what's happening inside of the.
Yeah.
I mean,
But then you won't
I'm-
get to see the portal gun and GLaDOS and stuff like that. I don't know. And I think that's also the kind of thing that people watching a video game, we want to see the stuff they see in the video game.
yeah, and that's I
That's
think
why you're based on it, like
Yeah.
right?
yeah, that's the problem. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
that is the problem. Yes, because
that the-
yeah, a
this
journalist,
fan service.
a journalist starting to dig into Aperture Science. That sounds like it could be a great like mystery movie.
Mm.
But people will be like, well, where's the robots? Where's the heart cube? Where's the portal guns? But
Well, they can have the remains of things.
yeah, maybe.
still-
But then it just becomes like fan service. It's that balance that is super hard.
And it only works. I would say the video games movies will only work if they stop the fan service and if they don't care if the audience. I mean, if the audience for the game like it.
Yeah.
They make a good movie for everyone. If people that like the games are disappointed, that's their problem.
But not like the Resident Evil movies, right?
No.
No, I mean,
Well, in one way, the Resident Evil movies kind of found that balance because they took
Yeah.
some things from the games but made them their own story, and all of the movies were like financial successes. So
Maybe that's why we liked the first one better because it didn't have any of the main characters.
yeah,
Yeah,
Then when the
maybe.
main characters got involved, it just felt like shit.
exactly.
Yeah. But then there's also that thing, you don't have to call that movie Resident Evil. It could just be called
No,
The Hive or whatever. So
yeah, and I mean,
So it has nothing to do with the Resident Evil.
yeah, I mean that works if there's like Resident Evil movies. So I mean, if you take these things that are kind of in the real world, but if you do like a Witcher movie in the Witcher universe, you can't call it something else because it's such an
Yeah.
It's such a well written and big world. That,
Yeah.
So, another movie I think would be great. Another world to base a movie in is, I think, the Dishonored world would work great.
Yeah, I haven't played that too much, but it has a very nice like visual flair to it.
Yeah, and it's great. It has some really nice like world aspects that they never really expand on in the games. They just throw it out there,
Oh.
like the most of civilization is built around like whale blood from from magic whales they find in the ocean.
Okay,
Oh,
I
okay,
didn't know
cool.
that.
And that's all they say about it. But yeah, the whale blood's over there. It's very important. Okay, cool. I guess.
The Fallout
That,
universe could work.
yeah, Fallout could work.
Maybe.
I mean, it would work more than the Skyrim
Yeah,
or
definitely.
the Elder Scrolls.
Sure.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But the Elder Scrolls isn't that good universe. I mean, it's fun games, but the universe isn't that great.
No, they strike a good balance between telling a story and building the world, because there is a lot of world building, but you don't have to know any of it to enjoy the game.
No.
That's pretty good.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah.
One game that I thought, once again, yeah, the game world that I think might work, because they have done like not quality movies based on it, but they have written some good books based on that game, is Dead Space. They wrote 2 books that are like prequels to the games.
They
Mm.
made
And-
one.
Yeah, they made 2 like anime movies. They're
No, they made one that was basically like Dead Space.
Event Horizon.
No, it came with. Oh my God, what's his name? He. Oh, I'm forgetting the actor's name. He's in Hello High Water. He's also in. You know what movie I'm talking
Yeah,
about, right?
Pandorum.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
That's
That's
Dead
basically Dead Space.
Space-ish. But
Ben
that could
Foster.
work.
He's called Ben Foster, for
Ben
Christ's sake.
Foster.
The greatest living actor. Yeah, that's basically Dead Space. But if you want to like specifically base it on the Dead Space like lore or world, the 2 books that they wrote, especially the first book, is like I count it. I don't read that many books, so I'm not that well read, but I count it as one of the best books I've ever read. As it's like a proper book. I would put it up next to like, I don't know, fucking like other like Stephen King books, or like not Stoner maybe, but either way, it works as a real book, not just a cool video game book. It works as a real book. But just like you said, Christopher, it doesn't have anything to do with the actual games. It just takes inspiration from the world, and they flesh out the whole religious aspect of Dead Space. The I don't know what it's called, but the necromorph thing. It's like a religion for people, and then it expands on that concept, and that works really well as a book. So that might work as a movie, but it has nothing to do with the actual games.
Yeah. But
So we
I don't
have
think
found the
we'll ever
solution.
see this.
No, probably not. Well,
So we basically found the solution how to make a video game movie.
I guess, or we found out that you can never really strike a balance.
Mm.
That the greatest video game stories doesn't really translate well to movies, and the greatest movie stories doesn't translate well to video games.
No.
So instead,
I
try
mean, the
to-
Mad Max game is supposed to.
No, I'm shutting that one down. That is nowhere near as good as the movies, in my opinion, at least. I don't know. But I would say, instead of making video game movies, use the
Original.
medium. Yeah, make original movies first and foremost,
Mm.
but then also use the medium of video games to tell stories in a different way, like with Gone Home or What Remains of Edith Finch, or games like that. Beginner's Guide.
Yeah.
That is what I would say. Stop trying to make video game movies a thing. It's never gonna happen, I think. And I'd say if no one else has anything to add, I think we're gonna wrap it up. We've done almost 2 hours.
Yeah. Seems
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. I wanna quickly plug something that is made for fun. So I'm gonna hold on, because all big YouTubers have their own merch. So I sat here this week and thought, hey, why don't I have any merch? So I went and made some merch.
Okay.
It's very basic because I'm not an artist, so I just slap something together with my thumbnails. But there's a couple of designs, and Christopher, I didn't ask for your permission, but I put you on one of the shirts.
Okay.
You're on the Please Don't Livestream shirt, since you're a co-host. So yeah. if you want to wear our faces on you, there's that.
I think I'm actually gonna buy one.
Yeah, go ahead. It's mostly for fun. I mean, when you only have like a few hundred subscribers, you probably won't sell any. But I mean, now it's out there. It was fun to do. Yeah.
Tell me if you ever sell any.
Well, Gavin might buy one. That's good.
Yeah, sure, I guess.
But yeah, of course. I mean, you're gonna get a cut of every live stream shirt, of course. I mean, your face is on it. But it's also like I said, it's mostly a gag because I put the prices low enough. I mean, a shirt now costs like €18. That means there's a profit of like €2 or €3 for me. So I'm not trying to like make money off of it. It's just for fun. But at least now it's out there. I thought I should just plug that. For when I reach that 1 million subscriber mark, I don't have to plug it because I've already done it. You know?
So do you link it anywhere, or?
I haven't done that yet. This is the first. This is the first announcement that I'm actually making, but I'm gonna link it on YouTube and in the description below and stuff like that. So it's gonna be there. If anyone wants to buy it, go ahead. I don't care.
Okay.
But
sure.
that's about it. There we. Yeah, we're back. Yeah.
It's hilarious that you did it.
Yeah. I mean, why not? And that's the thing. Like, why not? It's free. I can just assign it, and I don't have to pay anything for it. They just take a piece of the earnings. So why not? Everyone should do it.
Fair.
Why not?
Everyone
Everyone can have their own merch line. Why not? And it's also.
Yeah, but when's your merch line coming out?
Yeah.
When I start not to forget that we have live streams on Mondays.
Yeah.
No, not regarding this live stream.
No,
just
your own merch line.
Your just for being a person merch.
I mean, me and my friends have always talked about doing T-shirts just for fun,
For fun. Yeah.
but we never did it.
Yeah. And also, but I also it's kind of a if you don't want to like become a patron, because then you have to pay every month a certain amount. If you just want to do like a one-time donation, buy a shirt. Yeah, it's like an alternative to the monthly patron thing. Also,
Are you gonna release like a diss track as well? Like the
n-
merch more?
no, I'm gonna stop about here. I want to be like a serious YouTuber, but I don't want to become a YouTuber because that's kind of gross. I want to use YouTube to put my message out there, but I don't want to be a YouTuber. But that's that. So there.
Yeah.
Now I plugged both the merch and the Patreon. So yeah, we did 2 hours. That's great. For next week, we don't have anything yet, but
I have an idea.
Yeah. Oh well, we'll take that off air.
Yeah.
But we'll figure out something until next week. And just quickly, I know I haven't made any proper videos in like weeks now. It's mainly because there hadn't been any good movies out. But this Wednesday, I'm going to watch John Wick 3. So expect a review of that. And I've also have a few other ideas I'm going to try to work on. So there's going to be more videos. But we're always going to do live streams. Those are fun. So until next week, have a good one. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.